What is life like for the elderly living alone in Vietnam? Come along with me and let's see what interesting things we can discover. Every time I walk along this familiar village path, a quiet heaviness settles in my heart. Despite the years spent away, the scenery remains unchanged, strikingly peaceful. The midday sun casts its light upon the porch, where a father lives on, day after day, in the quiet solitude of his small home. As soon as I reached the doorway, I saw my father's frail figure. His back had grown noticeably stooped with the passing years. He lived alone, leading a life of such simplicity that he asked for nothing for himself. Holding the small gift bag, he broke into a smile that was weathered yet warm, and all the fatigue from the long journey seemed to vanish instantly. The house held nothing of value, just a small bed draped in an old mosquito net, and a few styrofoam boxes containing daily essentials. It was a simple, bare space, yet it was the place where Dad had felt most at home and at peace throughout the years. In front of the house stand a cluster of green banana trees, a few ornamental plants tended by my father's own hands, and a rainwater jar catching the afternoon sun. The atmosphere of the countryside is rustic and serene, with only the sound of the wind rustling through the leaves, soothing the loneliness of the elderly. Sitting together at the small table, brewing a pot of hot tea, and watching Dad take a long drag on his cigarette before exhaling a cloud of white smoke. We'd share rambling stories, talk of the neighborhood, of health. Dad rarely spoke words of affection, yet his gaze and every simple gesture were filled with longing for his child to return home from afar. There are moments of silence that need no words. Just sitting beside Dad, watching his frail frame lean against that old chair, and feeling the country breeze drift across the porch, I truly realize that happiness can be so simple. It is merely the chance to come home and see Dad safe and well. It had been a long time since my father and I had the chance to sit and talk like this. I was usually too busy with work to visit home often, and my brothers did not get along with him. He told me stories about the neighborhood and the changes in the village. Those were truly peaceful moments in life. My father is 70 years old now, yet he still has to work for others to make a living. He is willing to take on any job to cover his daily expenses. From felling trees and assisting with construction work to clearing weeds, he does it all. Deep down, I care deeply for my father, but my own life is quite a struggle. So I can't really offer much help. Whenever I visit, I can only manage to buy him a small gift or give him a little money for snacks. Whenever I arrange my schedule to visit my father's little house, indescribable emotions well up within me. The humble, peaceful home sits nestled amidst the lush green of vast fields and abundant foliage. Stepping gently into the sun-drenched courtyard and gazing at the familiar vegetable patches and trees, I find the rush of the outside world simply fading away at the gate. My spirit suddenly feels incredibly light and serene. Strolling along the shady pond's edge, I came across a delightful surprise, a clutch of Muscovy duck eggs tucked deep within the lush green grass. That is the essence of simple, unpretentious country life. It is neither elaborate nor fancy, yet these small, unexpected, and vibrant moments are enough to make the entire day feel truly warm and fulfilling. Standing before the vast, tree-shaded pond, I gently closed my eyes to welcome the cool, refreshing breeze. The fresh air carried the sweet scent of greenery and moisture. In that moment, it felt as though all the chaos, pressure, and worries of the city outside had completely vanished, giving way to absolute peace. Bending low, I gently stirred the cool pond water, searching for a familiar taste of the countryside. As I held a small snail still coated in cool, damp mud, a flood of innocent childhood memories came rushing back. That faint, earthy scent of mud and that rustic, unpretentious charm have become deeply ingrained in my very being, forming an indelible part of my memories.
1 phút 40 giây.
Walking across the freshly tilled hillside, I leave slow, deep footprints in the loose red basalt soil. Through countless seasons of sun and rain, this land has remained steadfast and enduring, quietly gathering every drop of nourishment to help the trees and plants bloom and bear fruit. Feeling the soft, yielding earth beneath my feet makes me feel more connected to nature than ever before.
Ôi cái thấy.
Pausing to rest beneath the cool canopy right at the entrance, I look up at the lush, interlacing green foliage that shields me from the sweltering midday sun. As I gently touch the rough bark, time seems to slow down. In every branch and blade of grass here, I can fully sense the meticulous care, the nurturing effort, and the quiet love that Dad has poured into this place over the years. During my days in the countryside, the thing I loved most was frolicking in the garden to forage for natural treats. My niece and I would wield a long bamboo pole, gazing upward to spot ripe guavas hidden high among the branches. As the afternoon sun filtered through the foliage, one of us would steady the pole to knock the fruit down, while the other held out a hat to catch it. A simple, playful teamwork filled with laughter. High up in the tree, every single guava is plump and juicy, cleverly tucked away amidst the foliage. Successfully knocking one down so it lands right in the pink hat brings such a thrill of joy. Standing in this rustic countryside setting with a gentle breeze blowing, I find these simple moments to be so incredibly peaceful and precious. After some fumbling about, the result was a hat brimming with guavas, their skins a rich golden yellow. Holding a small guava still fragrant with the scent of the countryside sun, and taking a crisp, crunchy bite, one savors a delicate, natural sweetness that spreads across the palate. It is a sensation of freshness and wholesome sweetness that no city can offer. Savoring the fruits of one's labor while gazing out at the familiar garden, there is no need for lavish treats. A few guavas plucked by hand and the sound of hearty laughter on a sunny day in the countryside are all it takes to recharge one's energy and cherish the full essence of childhood memories.
3 phút rồi.
There are days when I crave the feeling of casting aside all the hustle and bustle to return to my hometown, if only for a leisurely stroll. As I gently push open the familiar iron gate, my footsteps tap softly along the dirt path leading straight to the fields. Stepping out of the courtyard, I am greeted by a gentle, cool breeze carrying the faint, wholesome scent of the countryside, a fragrance I haven't fully breathed in for such a long time. Before me stretches a narrow concrete path, winding endlessly between two carpets of lush green rice. Standing amidst the vast expanse of earth and sky, I feel a sudden sense of lightness in my heart. I spread my arms wide to welcome the breeze brushing against my shoulders and breathe in the scent of young rice, that sweet, wholesome, yet subtle fragrance drifting through the air. As I walk, I nod in greeting to the acquaintances riding past, There is something so endearing and heartwarming about such simple, unpretentious charm.
Một phút, 11 giây.
As one ventures deeper along the winding lanes skirting the village, the atmosphere grows increasingly tranquil. On either side, lush green rice stalks sway gently in the breeze, murmuring softly as if engaged in conversation. Walking amidst this soothing greenery, the fatigue and frantic pace of the bustling city seem to melt away, vanishing before one even realizes it. Pausing by the edge of a small paddy, I bend down to gently touch the base of the rice plants, feeling the cool, silt-rich water that nourishes every tender stalk day and night. Standing amidst the vast open sky, gazing at the lush greenery and thriving banana hedges, and filling my lungs with the sweet, wholesome scent of the countryside, I realize that this simple moment is the ultimate healing balm for the soul. Whenever I have the chance to set work aside and return to my little hamlet, the sight that brings the greatest sense of relief to my heart is this peaceful landscape. A narrow concrete path winds alongside the clear blue water, flanked by rows of coconut palms leaning over to cast their cooling shade. Although the midday sun in the countryside can be quite harsh, the moment I step beneath that canopy of green fronds, the stifling heat seems to be left behind. Standing beneath the familiar coconut tree and gazing up at the vast blue sky, I listen to the rustling of fronds in the gentle breeze. The sight of heavy, fruit-laden clusters hanging high above instinctively brings back memories of summer afternoons from my childhood days spent climbing trees with neighborhood friends, to harvest coconuts and sharing the cool, sweet water that washed away the sweltering heat of the southern countryside. Leaving behind the hustle and worries of city life, I strolled leisurely along the canal bank. Lush green clumps of wild lemongrass swayed gently in rhythm with my steps. The raw, grassy scent mingled with the distinctive aroma of the river water, creating an incredibly pleasant atmosphere, a fragrance of freedom, and rustic simplicity that no bustling metropolis could ever replicate. I craved that authentic feeling, wading down the stone steps by the water's edge and letting my bare feet gently touch the cool stream. Even though the water was a bit murky with silt today, that refreshing, intimate sensation filled me with a sense of dreamy wonder and pure delight. As I retraced my steps back to the familiar village lane, golden midday sunlight bathed the simple walls and rooftops. It was just a brief excursion, a few moments of leisurely, simple peace in my hometown,